Over spring break, I read Outliers, The Story of Success by Malcolm Gladwell. The title Outliers is ironic, as this book argues why every successful person ever was ordinary in just about everything, except the circumstances that they were born into or inherited. An outlier is not made by their own magical powers, nor an innate ability that no one else possesses, but instead pure luck and special circumstances that they themselves did nothing to create. Kind of. Gladwell starts out the book by talking about what exactly success is, or at least is perceived to be in modern America, and then talks about what one does to become successful. Generally, success is associated with money and fame. We can all agree on that. But how does one have the qualities to achieve that fame or to make that money? The first part of the book talks about how success comes to be. Here's a quote from chapter 1 where Gladwell says, quote, "Success arises out of the steady accumulation of advantages, when and where you are born, what your parents did for a living, and what the circumstances of your upbringing were, all make a significant difference in how well you do in the world." Let's dive into the first part of that quote. When and where you are born. Gladwell pulls up a list of the 75 wealthiest people to ever walk the globe. They are arranged by net worth in current US dollars. The list is filled with queens, kings, and pharaohs from centuries past, as well as contemporary billionaires such as Warren Buffett. What Gladwell points out is amazing. Out of that entire list, 14 are Americans born within 9 years of one another in the mid-19th century. Historians who created this list start with Cleopatra and the pharaohs and comb through every year in human history since. And almost 20% of the people on that list are from a single generation in a single country. The list of 14 include John D. Rockefeller and J.P. Morgan. In the 1860s and 1870s, the American economy went through perhaps the greatest transformation in its history. Railroads were being built, America was rapidly developing out west, and Wall Street emerged. All rules of the previously traditional economy were broken and basically remade. If you were born in the late 1840s, you were too young to take advantage of that moment. And if you were born in the 1820s, you were too old. Your mindset would be shaped by the pre-Civil War ideals. But there was a sweet spot, a 9-year window in the 1830s that was perfect and led to 14 of the wealthiest people to ever walk the planet. This example itself was not an outlier, as similar results were yielded for current Silicon Valley tycoons. An astonishing number were born in either 1954 and 1955. Gladwell's point is not that every single person born in these years were guaranteed success, but instead that there are obvious patterns that are rarely acknowledged. He argues that we often pretend that success is, quote, exclusively a matter of individual merit. These successful people had the opportunity to work hard and seized it, but also happened to come of age at a time when that hard work was rewarded and recognized by the rest of society. Their success was not just of their own making, but instead, quote, it was a product of the world in which they happened to grow up. Finally, we will dive into Bill Gates, who was one of those lucky children to be born in 1955. Bill Gates has a simple story. A young math genius drops out of Harvard to start a little computer company called Microsoft with his buddies, and bam, he builds it into the giant of the software world that it is today. Gates' father was a wealthy lawyer in Seattle, and his mother was the daughter of a wealthy banker. Bill was sent to Seattle's most prestigious private school, the Lakeside School. Soon after he arrived, a computer club was founded by the mothers at school, and due to the wealth that the parents had, the club was able to fund and purchase a computer that very few universities had gotten their hands on, an ASR-33. Long story short, Bill Gates had a lengthy list of opportunities that very few in the world had. First, he was sent to Lakeside. Secondly, was that Lakeside had enough money to pay the expensive computer fees. Thirdly, when the school stopped paying because it was too expensive, one of the parents offered for Bill to come and practice using a work computer at his firm. Fourth, Bill found an ad for ISI, which was a company that needed young computer scientists to help with its payroll software. Fifth was that Bill lived within walking distance to the University of Washington. Sixth, the university offered free computer time between 3 and 6 a.m. Seventh, one of Bill's bosses at his first job had a friend at another company looking for programmers. Eighth, Bill's boss recommended Bill for this new job. And the ninth opportunity was that Lakeside allowed Bill to skip his spring term and work for this new company writing code. All of these opportunities were a unique set, only given to Bill Gates, that all combined to allow him to practice. Gates had passed Gladwell's magical number for mastering anything, 10,000 hours, before he even started college. What all this boils down to is not successful people's extraordinary talent, but instead their extraordinary opportunities. Throughout the book, Malcolm Gladwell makes many points about success, but the ultimate conclusion is that success is complicated. It comes from a number of key factors such as opportunity and meaningful hard work. Random factors of chance, such as when and where you were born, can also influence the opportunities you have. But my two key takeaways are this. First, when opportunity presents itself, seize it. And second, there is no shortcut to mastery or success other than putting in the hours. I would highly recommend this book to anyone interested in learning about the parallels that exist in successful people. Thank you for watching.